If someone's going to bring you a kid and they say, my kid has attention deficit disorder, what would you think the kid really has before you walk in to say this kid really belongs in that category? What would you be looking for?
I'd have to see where there's a real demarcation between they can pay attention when something's pleasurable, they're interested in it. But when as soon as something becomes either neutral or maybe even perhaps boring, they cannot pay any attention. So that differentiation where a kid can spend 6 hours on a video game and can't spend 6 minutes on their homework, that's one indication to me. When they're squirming in their seat, they can't sit still. That even when they want to, you tell them, I'm going to time you for 5 minutes, and if you can sit still for 5 minutes, you're going to get this lollipop. Almost any, even kids that are movement oriented and high energy kids, they can sit if they want something for 5 minutes. That's why a lot of times I test it in my office. And parents will tend to view that behavior as purposive. Why? They almost think the kid's being defiant to me. And I know there are kids who cannot sit still for 5 minutes, so that would be another indication to me.
And because you make the diagnosis between medicine, there are different techniques that can be done without medicine. Some do need medicines, but don't think because you have that label, it's automatically medication. Is that correct?
Yes. One of my pet peeves is that I often tell parents is that other than myself and a few others, I don't know many people who really are trying to help these kids that are called attention deficit disorder. Therapists will see them and they'll treat them kind of like any kid coming in, and they'll play a game with them and they'll talk to them, but they're not really teaching them specifically. So like I say, I sit a kid down and I'll say, can you sit for 5 minutes? If he can't, all right, can you sit for a minute? And we try to work on actual skills. And there's so much talk of the medication, and I find that there's really few people who do what I call hands-on work with ADD kids to really help them overcome their problems. I have a skill I try to teach them called TTT, track the teacher. I teach the kid, if you keep your eyes on your teacher, most of the time you're going to be paying attention. Some kids have done beautifully with just that one strategy. If they keep their eyes on the teacher, even if their mind tends to wander, it's not going to wander for long because the teacher makes a movement, they see something.
So we can say track your teacher is a treatment for attention deficit disorder?
Yes.
And it helps some?
It helps many of them. It certainly improves them. Getting mad at them or disciplining them or telling them, to sit in the corner, that kind of behavior, which can get done in schools, where they just move the kid up to the front of the room. But if that kid isn't looking at we all know eye contact is the most important thing in communication. How could a child do well in school if they're not watching what's being taught?